Virtual reality. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's heard about it, for better or for worse. Virtual reality is the worst. I used to be an avid VR. Like, imagine you could be anywhere, anytime. It's magical, really. It's like magic. But the more you play, the more you just gotta be like, damn, I was fucking high as shit. And don't get it twisted, I'm not just another one of these old people on here who have never even touched a sweet, succulent Mark Zuckerberg headset. A sweet, sweet masterpiece of Meta's craftery. I'm not one of those. I have wasted so much of my life in one of these virtual reality headsets. I have an insane amount of hours on Steam VR and virtual reality. It's actually crazy how many hours I have wasted on these headsets. But that is not the point. The point is, these virtual reality headsets have gotten a little bit out of hand beyond the multiple amounts of crazy monopolies that Meta has over the market, and just the blatant indoctrination of children to widen that ever so sweet profit margin a little more with this dying industry that Meta so tightly grips onto to try and keep it alive. And the first time you play virtual reality, you're gonna be astonished, blown away even. You're like, whoa, so many possibilities! Until you realize that all the possibilities are either saturated, dog shit, or mobile games ported over to a $500 headset, or $300 depending on which one, how much money you're willing to shell out. My first time with a VR headset was so crazy that I begged my mom, oh mommy, please, get me a please get me a MetaQuest 2 for Christmas. I love the virtual world so much. Oh please, mommy, please. And she eventually folded and got me one. I got that virtual reality headset, and for the first day, I would not take that thing off of my head. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat. I was so indulged in this virtual world that I forgot that the real one existed. Like genuinely. Like, I would take it off and be like, whoa, where am I? Like I just got off like an acid trip. Like, oh. Like virtual reality's cracked, like I'm snorting the headset. Oh yeah, that's the good meta shit. When you first get a virtual reality, a meta quest, if you will, a piece of the metaverse. The metaverse is so stupid. It's gonna be a crazy experience, as it is for most people. You're gonna be like, whoa, a virtual world. I can be anywhere, anytime, and it's some crazy stuff. But it's a lot like anything else in life. It hits hard in the beginning, and then it slowly fades. It's leaving you with this $500 virtual reality headset that you keep using because you spent $500 on it. You're not gonna not use it, but all you're doing is playing the same shit over and over again because there's a total of like 7 good VR games that don't cost an arm and a leg, and then the rest are just recycled mobile games that do cost an arm and a leg, which is crazy because I am playing Blockbuster in my $500 headset. That is crazy. But honestly, I could excuse all of that if it wasn't for Meta's blatant marketing towards trying to get children hooked on these little things so that they keep coming back. We have iPad kids now. Soon we're gonna have fucking virtual glasses kids, where you're gonna be at Walmart and you're gonna see a little kid walking around like, mommy, look at the gorillas, mommy. And nobody wants that future. That's an awful, awful fate for all of us. But that's what we're heading towards, especially now that Meta has lowered the age requirement from like 13 to 10 years old and now endorsing 10-year-old children to put on one of these computers strapped to your face and play the gorilla game with a bunch of other screaming toddlers. It's literally worse than brain rot. It is incredible how willing Meta is to have children strap one of these things to their face and play gorilla tag until they take it off, and all of a sudden they're 19 years old and they're like, oh my god, I've done nothing with my life. All I know is the gorilla go ooh ooh ah ah. Children have developing minds, and getting them hooked on a virtual world at the early ripe age of 10, nobody knows what it's going to do to a developing mind because the technology just hasn't been available widespread for long enough for anyone to know what living in a virtual world from the ripe ages of 10, probably earlier if we're being realistic, because nobody looks at the age labels. But we'll go with 10 because that's the age they're advertising as the safe age. Most children are already being raised on their iPads because most children would rather slap an iPad in front of them than raise their goddamn kid. But imagine what living in a fake world from the ripe age of 10 would do to a developing mind that will overstimulate and fry every single one of their dopamine receptors from the ripe age of 10 up until whenever they stop using it, which nowadays, who knows, maybe we'll all just live in the metaverse and we'll never take them off. People will sew them to their heads and never take them off because that's the meta future, baby. Who doesn't want to live in that world? Ready Player One, and here we come. And if you're a parent and you think for a gosh darn minute that Meta actually gives a flying fuck about your children, you are hard and dramatically mistaken. Meta only cares about their bottom line and a profit margin, and they only lowered the age ranking because Gorilla Tag was their most successful virtual reality game ever, and they realized how much of a market marketing to children was. So they just lowered the age rating because they don't actually care. You all know your rec rooms and your VR chats and all of them. But has anyone ever thought about the impact of having 10-year-olds interact with 28-year-olds who don't leave their basement? Like, I've watched countless videos of people discovering predators in VR chat and all these people, and that's just videos of documented cases. Do you know how many people probably get away with this on the regular? I have spent hours on these virtual platforms. So if anyone has the right to talk about VR chat, I think it's me with my fucking, over 100, if not much more, hours. I'll check. My point is, if anyone has the right to talk about it, I think I have at least a little bit of a right. I'm sure there are many more people with many more hours on this game than I have. Honestly, this probably looks like chump change to some people. The point being, there are tons of predators and all kinds of other stuff on these virtual platforms that they're letting literal 10-year-olds on. I know these things have age requirements, but again, the Meta Quest age requirement is 10 years old. So if they're gonna buy if a parent's willing to buy a headset for a child at 8 or even younger, because again, we all know that there's 8-year-olds on these fucking platforms, because nobody's got into a VR chat lobby without the classic 8-year-olds screaming in their fucking SpongeBob skin. But because of it, it's like taking an entire school on a field trip to fucking Touchy Ted's house and being like, all right, we're just gonna leave you guys here for a few hours. Touchy Ted, do whatever you want with them. You see how that could be an issue?
Listen, moral of the story being, just take off the virtual reality headset for a little bit, go touch some grass, go visit your local park. Fuck, if you live in a suburban hellhole, go for a walk and look at the houses. Touch some grass, go walk around, go smell a flower, run your fingers through the water, feel the earth. As goofy as it sounds, it really is a lot more fulfilling than any short dopamine trip this little thing will get you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go put my $500 virtual reality headset on a shelf where I don't use it for about a year, because that's about how often I pick it up nowadays. So yeah, I like that. We'll end it off there. That's a good one.